It's now about 6 weeks after the first video, and since then I've dropped the work light, so it's broken the pieces that pivot in a couple different places. I went back and changed the design to add about 1.5 millimeters to the thickness of each of the areas that broke. But that also had the effect of making the 1-inch screws that hold the pieces to the legs too short. So I've gone and replaced those with 1.25-inch screws. It's also worth noting that if you do make these and use the hammer technique to remove them from the build plate, you should really take careful aim when you swing, because I didn't one time, and I don't know if you can see it, but I nicked the build plate with a hammer and had to try to flatten that out with a file. I found with the new parts that I couldn't really pull the part off the build plate by hand. And these are the supports that I put into it. There's 4 in there, 4 there, but obviously you can put whatever you want with your own slicing software that comes with a printer. So let me get rid of the supports. But I just couldn't, seems I couldn't pull it off by hand. In fact, the first one, it actually broke, although I was able to glue it back together with some super glue. What I found did pretty much work the best was take the handle of a putty knife and then a hammer and then just pound away on it, and it seemed to come off without breaking. So let's see. There we go. Came off all in one piece. Another change I made to the design was to rotate this round piece that makes the light pivot about 10 degrees, so now on each side there are 2 distinct pieces. But what that does is now it will make the work light close flat when the legs are closed, whereas originally they had about a 10-degree angle at the most closed position. But one result of having to use the longer screws to hold the pivoting pieces onto the legs is that the ends of the screws now hit the light and try to rotate it. So I cut about 1/8 of an inch off of the screws so the light will clear. Only the 2 inside screws need to be cut. The outside ones won't interfere with anything, even though they're a little bit longer. After filing the cut ends of the screw smooth, the light now pivots freely. Now only one set of the new pivoting pieces will have the hexagonal indentation, so you should put those sides on the outside so the bolt will settle into that. So the new, and I hope more durable, pivot pieces are done. I'll put a link in the original video and in this one to the new STL files if you want to download and try it yourself.